2017, November the 4th. This is when I hit absolute rock bottom.
Clarita de Quiroz, creating an album, launching it, #1, and degree in law. You have to explain yourself.
I was trying to be a robot almost, like this strong, unstoppable force and with no emotions, because that's how we were brought up.
Second time in this podcast, I'm getting goosebumps.
I've never said that before. This is the first, this is an exclusive.
Thank you, but no, not loyal to that, unsubscribing to that.
Power of no. If you allow yourself to be vulnerable, then you're opening up so much. And there's only so much in our lives that we can control.
I feel like home when you say that.
Before, if someone upset me, I'd be like, now I just go, I'm not allowing that to get to me.
So that's one of the ways in which we all can unmute ourselves. Welcome to UnMute with me, Andreea Zoia. This podcast is meant to inspire you to break free from societal conditioning or fear, as well as helping you to identify when in your life you've muted a part of yourself. Through the medium of this podcast, we are extending an invitation to unmute yourself for the simple purpose of living authentically, being free to express who you are in all areas of your life. I'm joined on today's podcast by an extraordinary human and artist, a full-fledged successful entrepreneur who is a multi-passionate artist. We've known each other for a very long time as we've modeled together. And then we parted ways until today. Clarita de Quiroz, my incredible friend, who is a classically trained pianist, vocalist, percussionist, and entrepreneur, is joining me in the studio to not only share her story with her highs and her lows as an artist and businesswoman, but also to allow us behind the curtains of an international singer who performs at the highest level for global audiences and keeps reinventing herself. To me, her journey is a masterclass in combining passion, discipline, and authenticity to live a life of purpose and creativity. If you too want to learn how to stay disciplined, to master a skill, reinvent yourself and stay relevant in competitive industries while expressing your own truth and let go of fear of judgment, stay tuned. Clarita recently launched her brand new album, A New Key, and today we will unpack all that for you with the aim of guiding you to unmute yourself because you are simply too powerful to stay silent. Girl, it's been exactly 10 years since we last met. And just behind the scenes for our amazing audience, we caught up like 7 days, 10 days ago, and we said we are not going to meet for lunch because we want to unpack the joy, the excitement of meeting after 10 years in front of you, in front of the cameras. So
I want to pinch you. Are you real? Is this happening?
This is happening. From the sets of the hundreds of commercials that we've done together, the modeling days, lots of fashion shows in the glamorous Dubai, all the way to you launching album after album and playing with and performing on the biggest stages, to then an executive public speaking coach, right? Like, did you see the executive coach in me when we were modeling and doing the,
Yes, 100%. I remember being always impressed because you were never we were all never just models. We were making the most of like our 20s and we were giving it everything. So that was like 10 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I remember speaking to you and you always had purpose. I remember you spoke multiple languages. You were actually doing public speaking then, and I think you wanted to be a life coach as well. So you didn't, when we were modeling, we weren't talking about, so who are you wearing today? What we're doing? It was always, what are you doing next? What more can I do? And that was the difference.
I have goosebumps. I don't know if we can feel the goosebumps.
It's cold in here.
No. I have goosebumps because You've witnessed my growth. I've witnessed your glory as you are performing everywhere in the world, and you are unleashed. You are on fire. I cannot wait to speak with you about the new album. And it's true. We were the type of fashion models from Dubai who were making the most of the catwalk, the designers, the stage.
The connections.
But we were not vain, because it's very simple for people who are not in fashion industry, who are not in entertainment, to stick that label, oh, beautiful tall woman with great head and face and features, vain. So can we unpack that it's very easy to put a label on someone?
100%. In contrast to that, it was great for me to have a model pianist. Like, there are loads of pianists, but also a model pianist singer. So this actually worked for me, but it could work against me in so many things. She's a model. She probably has a limited, I don't know what it comes with now. And we were at a time where modeling was very different to how it was now.
It was very prestigious to be
It was.
chosen the face of XY brand.
Yes, in a very respectable country where they really did actually respect models. And we had to have flawless skin. We had to sleep. We had to think about
the
nutrition.
abs, the skin.
There was a degree of Photoshop, but nothing like today. The pressure was harder. We had to work harder, I think. I could be wrong, but I feel like our generation, and even the generation before that, the Kate Mosses and everything, they worked even harder because things change now.
How would you say that the years in modeling have been foundational for you as a businesswoman and international performing artist today?
Oof.
Where do you see the intersection?
For me, that side was because we're freelancers. It's not like we worked for a company, even though I was actually exclusive with an agency. That's how I like to be. If somebody wants me, I don't want to be in multiple agencies where they can drive down the price. I want exclusive. So if you want me, you're going to have to pay this price.
For sure.
So, and that, for me, you don't know when the money is coming in. You don't know who is good. It's so competitive. Like, it's very personal as well. I don't really want Clarita for this job because, her body shape isn't right or her lips are funny. They could do anything and it's you. And you can't change. Well, now you can. But back then, you wouldn't change it. And that's who you are. The business sense came from managing yourself and your brand. Even though I may have not been the ideal candidate for that modeling job, I remember people wanted to work with me because I'd make friends with everybody on the set. It was all about the connections, and they're like, I could probably get, this much taller model who's much slimmer, much younger, even models are back to 13 years old. And I would sometimes think, why have I been chosen for this?
It's because the people skills.
Yes, the makeup artist was like, I want to work with Clarita because I made really good friends with them. And I will genuinely be very professional on the job as well.
Apart from the warmth, openness, professionalism, people skills, what else do you think you got to unconsciously develop in the days when you were modeling?
Oof, this is a very tough question because
it was unconscious.
Yes.
Because you weren't like, okay, I'm gonna go to take these photos and enjoy myself and be true to myself while I'm modeling, and I'm gonna cultivate this particular skill. Of course, you are not doing it consciously, but I'm asking this question because when I now teach executives to have good posture and how to hold their chin and how to hold their body and be physically aware, I know I've practiced that for 12 years when I was modeling.
Yes, of course.
And I still get compliments on my posture from people. And I'm like, but this is second nature for me.
Yes, yeah.
So I think posture,
health, regime, how I treat people and all that. But for me, the posture came before with piano.
Of course.
You have to...
What age did you started playing?
4 years old. So I actually have no memory of not playing the piano. It's literally like speaking. So I don't think, I had to practice. I just know I played the piano.
Was it you who requested or your parents?
My parents.
All the credit goes to your amazing parents?
Some of the credit goes to my parents for making me do it. I put in all the work. So yes, it was my hard work, but with the support of my parents and the financing, 100%. That was them and encouraging me and being strict. So they would hear that I hadn't practiced for 2 weeks. I got grounded. I actually got grounded for that. And I was just thinking, God, I really don't like my parents. They're so horrible. They're mean. Thank goodness for this level of discipline. And I always thought people had different piano teachers as well. And they wouldn't practice and they wouldn't do this. And, they'll be like, I got away with it. And I was thinking, that's just not fair. I have to do this. But now I had a really tough, really traditional classical pianist tutor.
In Abu Dhabi or?
No, this was in Scotland.
In Scotland.
In Scotland. And she, so tough. So tough. I
Are you still in touch with her?
No, I'm not. But I am with her children, actually, because they went to the same school as me.
Wow.
And I just remember thinking, God, she's so mean.
Until?
Probably until I got really good, maybe about 14, 15. And then I went to school and then my teachers told me, I just thought I was useless and rubbish because, you know, it's so competitive to be a really good pianist. And it was my music teacher, a few of them actually said, I have a gift. And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? You're like, you play, it's not about the technicality. You know, everyone can practice hard. They say I had a touch. You've got a really unique touch. And I think that's the emotional side of me coming out through my music.
Do you think is the emotional side of it that is coming through your music? Do you think it was always there? And then the practice of 10 years from 4 to 14, do you think you've cultivated it?
I think back then I had absolutely no idea. But what I will tell you is that I would never talk back to my parents. I would never vocalize how I was feeling. I was very closed and I used to keep everything inside. However, not through my music. It used to come through. I remember my parents saying, I can tell Clarita's upset because she's playing the piano in a certain way.
Second time in this podcast, I'm getting goosebumps because we are on UnMute.
Yes.
And part of you was muted for several reasons, but then the piano was the medium where you were able to say what you couldn't say with words.
And this goes to today as well. There's so many things for multiple reasons, political, religious, just taboo, like things that you don't need to vocalize absolutely everything that you're feeling.
For sure.
And I struggle with that. I always used to tell everybody everything. And I in a certain period of my life. But now there's definitely something in me right now that I cannot speak about. And I definitely put it through this album. And it really went through the music. And then I feel good. You know, sometimes you want to send someone a really long text message because you're like, and then you regret it afterwards.
For sure.
I don't have this feeling because I've put it through the music and I've created something. And I've done it and I've got the release out.
Are you able to always kind of pause your thoughts and be able to go to the medium versus then unleashing it? And
sometimes I have to because I'm not around something to channel there's not a medium for me to do it. So it's always for me better to do it with the raw feeling. And sometimes when I do think about it again, I can do it. I rather get it over and done with because it's real, it's true, it's genuine. So yes, for me to create from nothing or just trying to think about how someone might feel, or it doesn't work for me. It has to be like this fire in me and it has to come out that way.
Through life, obviously we go to we all have so many difficulties. Life throws so many curveballs and we are living now in a day and age where there is so much more complexity to deal with. So from escaping and muting ourselves and escaping into shopping, going in nature, in your case, finding the medium of piano, specifically creating, playing, as we all deal with difficulties of life and life throws so many curveballs and we are living in a day and age where we have much more complexity. Some people choose shopping or different type of addictions or just escaping what they have to deal with.
Yes.
Is it for you? So then would you say that the piano was also your medicine apart from your art? Was like,
I think so, yeah, because it would be something for me. I could lock myself away and channel everything through it. But I don't think I understood that at such a young age. I do now. And it's mostly comes from two major feelings, pain or love, which are pretty much the same thing to me. Yeah, it's just like there's a very thin line.
Why is that the same thing for you?
For me, because love is painful.
And not always though.
If it can be because you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable. And that's very painful for me because I don't like to be vulnerable.
Who likes it?
I like to be, but vulnerability for me now is a strength. If you allow yourself to be vulnerable, then you're opening up so much. And there's only so much in our lives that we can control. And so to do this, for me, the vulnerability was very important. But yeah, I found it very painful to expose myself because I was trying to be a robot, almost like this strong, unstoppable force and with no emotions, because that's how we were brought up. My dad is like half Dutch, and and my mother's side is Filipino, Spanish, and we don't show emotions. If there's like sadly like a passing in the family or something, you don't cry, you just get on with it. So for me, that was kind of like programmed into my head, like vulnerability and emotion was a weakness. But I've completely twisted that now. And I am using that vulnerability and pain into a huge strength to like really channel and motivate my music. Because I think I've been silenced and unmuted for so long that I think my new music, even though it's on current feelings, they say, 20% is in the current, 80% is in the past. I think I'm bringing up a lot of stuff that I had never dealt with before as a child.
Before we dive into your incredible journey as an artist, take us back in time on your timeline. What was the moment? When was it when you said, I've been trained to dim down my feelings and the way I express until today? What was the incident, the day, the retreat, the mentor, the coach, the movie, the book that, okay, you have it?
I do have it, actually. I'm going to be so honest and open because I don't really talk about these things. Like if you Google anything about what we're talking about, it doesn't exist. I'm literally opening up now.
You are fairly private because I did the research and you are fairly private.
Exactly. So I'm very happy because I'm not ashamed anymore. I've removed all that shame. 2017, November the 4th.
Oh, at 3:34 p.m. Location in time?
Approximately.
Location?
It was Fish in the West End around 11 o'clock p.m.
Oh, okay. Right? Okay.
Because I remember this because this is when I hit absolute rock bottom. Okay. Like rock bottom in like not career, not with anything else, with myself. I literally couldn't get out of bed. I just couldn't do anything. I was struggling to get on stage. And it was this incident that made me force myself to do something about it. So maybe a few days after that, I met an amazing psychotherapist, spiritual therapist as well. Andreea owns this, and she has an amazing book called Juicy Life, which I read in 3 hours. It was so good. She made me realize that none of these things that I'm feeling and the way I'm behaving and reacting is with undealt trauma from my childhood. I've had to reparent myself. Mm-hmm. And on all these experiences that I thought were absolutely perfectly normal in a childhood that are completely the absolute opposite. So I had to start looking into my life and going, oh, okay, right, I've done actually really well to get through it. And it's really tough. So for me, the turning point was obviously the incident. And then there was that led me to finding the therapist. And she saved my life. Not because I was in that type of way, but she saved it in a way that it's like my eyes are the same, right? My life is the same, but I see everything differently.
Of course.
And I react differently to things. Like before, if someone upset me, I'd be like, now I just go, I'm not allowing that to get to me. I'm in more control of what is possible as much as I can physically do as a human. What is allowed to get through my barrier to get to me? Because my inner peace is absolutely everything now.
Thank you very much for sharing that. So almost every person has the inheritance from their parents and grandparents and ancestral. And now Gabor Mate has made the trauma work and ancestral trauma very popular. Still, there is a small percentage of people who are choosing to look, feel, go through and alchemize all that pain and release themselves and take accountability and drive their life.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's not that everyone is doing the work? Why do you think it's a smaller percentage? Because you're traveling the world, you're performing everywhere, you're bumping into so many people.
Yes. I think because everyone's different and everyone has a different story. And I'm a very extreme person. I go for it. And I think that extremity in my life has maybe gone into such extreme trauma, extreme pain, extreme love,
extreme healing,
extreme absolutely everything. And I don't think everyone's aware of what the power of the mind and therapy. Like if I say to my father, sorry, Dad, that I was seeing, I still do therapy, and I'm not ashamed of it. It's not because I believe I'm insane or anything. If you want to become the best person or the best version of yourself, sorry, but if I accidentally break my leg, I'm not just going to sit and go, come on, heal yourself. No, you go to a doctor because they fix the physical. A therapist is fixing my brain.
Absolutely.
Because every time I came out of a session, I'd be like, what did she just do there? I could breathe. And it was like she did something in my brain. I'm like, that doesn't hurt anymore. And then in a situation that would normally trigger me or upset me, stopped hurting me. And I'm thinking, okay, this has to be the therapy. You have to do the work. I mean, it's about the work and it's about your environment. I'm going to be very open and honest about something. I was very not popular. I had a big,
extremely popular, and loved and overbooked all the time.
Yes, no, I don't mean it that way. I mean I had a lot of people around me all the time. So I had a birthday party. I had 50 or 60 people. I don't even think I have 3 people that I would invite to my birthday party now. Mm-hmm. And not disrespecting to any of them. It's just that was my environment. It was always about people and the image and everything. And when I changed, it's not that there was anything wrong with them. I changed. I don't think I would
evolved.
fit.
Evolved.
We all evolve, but maybe my evolution doesn't match their evolution. And, so we all have different paths. Some will stay, some will go, some will be kind of there in parallel. But for me, changing my circle, and again, no disrespect to my partner at the time, we were not good for each other, let's say, because I was in that place where I was, and the way he was behaving, which was not negative, it was just, it was almost double triggering me.
This was post 2017?
This was around. 2000, yes. And the friends that person around them brought into my life wasn't necessarily what I would choose. So I was exposed to all of this. And as soon as I not cut them, I just moved away from myself and my inner peace. It just got so much easier. I didn't have to justify myself. I didn't have to justify why I didn't want to go out drinking alcohol till 2 a.m. It didn't have to justify anything. And that's another thing about me. I might be perceived to be one of the most boring people in the world to the majority of people, but to other people, I could be absolutely fascinating.
Obviously.
Yeah, it just depends. And I'm just finding my niche.
Your tribe.
Yes, my tribe.
All the time.
When I go out to events that I have to go to for work, I'll just sit there quite quietly because I don't know what to do, don't know what to say. But if someone comes up to me and there's something that we connect with...
I feel like home when you say that. I feel like home. So I've been doing family constellation, seeing a psychologist, doing all the therapy work. And my family, my close friends are like, when are you going to stop? I'm like, why stop? Do you stop going to the gym? Do you stop drinking alkaline water? Do you stop doing 10,000 steps a day?
No.
And I feel like home when you say that. And I do have clients who I've been coaching for the last 2 years and 4 years for the same purpose. They want to repeat and maintain and constantly upgrade their 100%. Public speaking skills.
Yes.
And you feel like home when you say, I'm doing the work since 2017 till date. And when I go in different environments, I'm like, where is my people? Where are you? Because we are a little bit more rare.
Yes. It's funny because people might see 2 different sides of you. They're like, she's actually really shy, or she's crazy. She's so much fun. But it depends which environment you're exposed to where you will really feel comfortable.
You come across fiery, raw, definitely bold and strong.
Really?
For people who are watching at home,
Wow.
who are watching you at home, that might be in a different state of mind. And maybe they haven't gone to therapy, they haven't done much self-aware work. Do you remember the days? Because I remember the days before therapy. So you started 2017, I was like 2018, like kind of like a year after.
Yes.
Same period. I remember when I was watching powerful personalities, people who are lit, who are full of light, being happy and speaking with all this fire, thinking,
Yes.
ugh, what's wrong with them? I was almost a bit jealous, plus like, oh, what are they on?
That's on you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So do you remember when you also had a different state of mind?
Yes, I do.
Looking at people who are a bit more vivacious and
but that's all on me. That's my own insecurities. That's my own issues. If I feel that way about someone, there's a problem. For me,
versus celebrating.
I should now. Yes, it's different.
When I see a star and I feel a star leader, a star CEO, a star Clarita de Quiroz, I'm asking myself, what is their standard? How are they running their day? What have they done to be so big and expansive that I can learn from them? Versus like, oh my gosh, they are bigger than me. I make myself small and then I mute myself.
Yes. Unbelievable, huh?
Let's talk about music.
Okay. I know a bit about this.
And being expansive. Music changed my life. 2018, 2019, I took 6 months of singing classes.
Excellent.
And I realized that you singers live the best life.
Why is that?
Because you're going into a high frequency every time you sing.
Do we?
Yeah, that was my experience when I was learning to... I could feel time stopped. I was just vibrating from within. I was immersing myself in the lyrics and nothing mattered anymore.
Wow.
I'm highly super sensitive and emotional too.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah. I think that's interesting that you say that because I've been doing it for so long. Maybe I take that side of it for granted. But the fact that you've gone your life and just recently come into it, that's for me is fascinating. But yeah.
When your artistry and super mega success, I want us to go back to age 4 to 14 and the Scottish tough teacher. Thank you, Scottish tough teacher. How did you, what was the secret for you to stay disciplined and become A-class international pianist?
Is this when I was younger or when I'm old now?
Throughout.
Okay, so the discipline just started from a young age. Like that's all I'm conditioned. That's all I know. I know that if you don't practice, you don't get, and there's no cheating with music. We didn't have all of this equipment and, now education is different. But this piano, it's your body. You can't bluff it. You can't exaggerate it. It has to be exactly what is on the piece of paper and the right dynamic, the right tempo. And you've got, for me, the hardest exams I've ever sat in my entire life were those piano exams. Even the lowest one, grade 1, brutal. All the way to the end, they going and shaking, and you have to play the piano shaking, and you're a child. Like, it's crazy. And because if you make a mistake, you cannot go back. It has to be perfect. But that's what it was then. I think maybe the exams are slightly changed, but it's a whole discipline thing. So that I think I brought that discipline all throughout my life. If it ain't perfect, it's not good enough.
You've been conditioned, and because you are a master at your craft in singing and playing the piano and many other instruments too, how did you manage in the days when things were not going well with your partner, when someone just spoiled your day before the therapy? How were you able to stay consistent and be disciplined? Because conscientiousness is the common denominator for success. Yeah. How did you stay on track with and being disciplined despite the emotional havoc that you were going through?
For me, it's not even about discipline. Music is just something that's in me. So if something was going really badly, I go to music. It's actual reverse. Like it's something that I can 100% guarantee. It's like having like your little Jiminy Cricket next to you. That is my person. That is my thing. I need that. So if everything is going really badly, at least I had music.
So you're describing identity. For everyone, whatever skill that they want to acquire, be it in business, be it in art, what is your identity? Because you just beautifully stated, I am a musician. This is what I do. There is no ifs and buts.
Yes.
I'm going back to nourishing, cultivating, growing who I am. Music was in me.
It's like music isn't something that I do. Music is something that I am. It is me. Like I can't explain the relationship I have with it. It's the one thing that will make me the most emotional in a film. Like I was at the opera yesterday watching The Nutcracker. It's ballet.
Okay, yeah.
I'm not going to lie. 90% of the time I was watching the orchestra and thinking about the music.
Okay.
I lost part. I had to Google the story afterwards. What happened? And I was crying for the music, not for the performance. The performance, don't get me wrong, absolutely breathtaking, like world-class standard, unbelievable. But music is something I can't explain my relationship with it. And I think that's really precious.
Speaking of higher standards and Dubai Opera, I want to really pass on the ball to you and give me the most authentic, raw, off the bat answer. What do you think has been your contribution to elevating the entertainment industry, the entertainment level in the UAE? Like, just give me your straight answer.
What is my
unfiltered?
What is my contribution? Such a hard question.
Because Dubai has been even more than now the transactional, the real estate, the magnet for money, and right. But then entertainment, modeling, art, theater, we've been the pioneers. We've been in the first line of, being the face of, presenting clothes, the media showing you lifted in the air with a piano.
Yes.
Give me that answer. I want to know what is your perception of how much you've contributed to the entertainment scene in Dubai. Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, I've contributed. I've contributed in the way that I might have just given people hope, because you can do it.
Paved the way.
I've just gone for it, and people thinking, oh, she's no one was original artist back then. There was maybe 3 people. And everyone was being cover artists and things like that. But my contribution is probably just always being consistent and always being present. I was always like, if I'm going to do this, I'm not going to let people forget about me. I was in the media all the time, like telling people my story, telling people about the music, and also bringing all the musicians together as well. I've been told, I can't say this about myself because I don't think it's...
You've been told?
I've been told that, I was one of the first people that really made a difference, because no one was releasing albums locally at that time. Solo female artists, not singing Arabic. It was very different.
I remember...
So that would be maybe the first thing, maybe showing like a female instrumentalist, vocalist, composer who was also modeling, was not just taking life for granted. People just come to Dubai and just party. It's just like, there's so much you can do here career-wise. The resources here are amazing. The people you can meet, the facilities, we've got we've got everything here. And for me, it's great to enjoy that side, enjoy life. But I think I took I grasped at any opportunity that came to me, and I didn't let anything stop me.
The way your art is flowing from you into the world is fascinating. I want to go back to you being a composer.
Right.
What in you gave you the permission to create, and then to love your art, and then to sing it and present it? Because with composers, with artists, we are like, with poetry, books, we are like, I don't know. Whenever you create something, there is also the doubt and the excitement of releasing it. There is the two. How did you build that courage to say, I wrote this, I'm trying it, I'm testing it, I'm releasing it, I'm recording it, I'm investing money in it, and off we go? And you are also a Sony registered artist.
I was, yes.
You were.
I was, yeah. So I think, honestly, to answer this would be how I did it is because I had support. People were listening, going, "Oh my gosh, that is really good." And it wasn't just people going, you get these parents who their child is singing and it's awful, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, that's amazing." My parents would never do that to me. If it was bad, that's terrible. Like, so when I was making good stuff and they were saying it was good, and my music teachers were saying it was good, that was it. I will never forget. I think you call it A levels, but in Scotland it was your higher, and I think it's even called something else now. So the last exams that you do before you go to university, I had my practical exam for my A level music, and I'll never forget this. And maybe this is when I thought I can do anything. I played one of my compositions on the piano. I think the exam was 25 minutes long. He didn't write anything at all. He was just sat like this. And he stood up and applauded me. He was just like, "I hope you don't stop playing music." And I think these moments, I took them when they say that I can do these things.
Goosebumps all over my body when you describe that, because you took me to that place and I could see that person who was validating you saying, "That's flawless."
Yeah, I think I was given a lot of outward validation at that point. So it's good.
Talent plus hard work plus parents who would ground you, plus a Scottish teacher who would say, "Young lady," plus other experts and parents who would say, "That's great," encouraging you, helping you, giving yourself more and more and more permission, allowed you to allow all the flow, all the genius in you come out more and more without any restriction.
Yes.
What blocks did you have to face as you wanted to? Just a few. No, because you look flawless, you're stunning, you're strong. Yeah, exactly.
Again, around this time, between 2013, 2016 maybe, I had a few blocks. That was confidence again, because I was comparing myself to other people. And I was listening to people that were negative about my work in Dubai. They were like, "She can't sing. She could be better at the piano. Oh, don't like that song. She can't write lyrics that way." And everyone's going to have their opinion, and that's great. It was my fault for listening to it. So I didn't want to sing. I didn't want to write. I was too scared. And I was getting so much input from people co-writing my lyrics and writing music that is not me. This is why I don't really like listening to my 2015 album.
Yeah.
I've never said that before. This is the first. This is an exclusive.
Thank you.
Because a lot of my songs were co-written. So again, I'm not being nasty or disrespectful. There was probably fantastic work for them, but it's not me. So that's why I can't listen to it. That's why I had to rework one of my songs in the album and put it into this new one. So being true to me makes me happier. And if someone says something bad about it, I don't care, because it's literally it's true.
It's so human nature to be loyal to people that you are co-writing or people that you are creating something.
I had no boundaries as well.
But then today, you just told me when you walked in the studio, because I'm a little bit unstoppable, Andreea, Today, you're fully in your power and you're like, "Thank you, but no, not loyal to that, unsubscribing to that."
Power of no and boundaries. I didn't know what a boundary was until recently.
But between 2015 and between this big break when the negative voices were there, what did you have to do? What did you have to travel inside you in order to throw everything out?
I had
purify.
I had to drink alcohol. And that's why I had a lot of anxiety. Not that I was drinking a lot, but I didn't know what to do because I didn't know what the problem was. I couldn't diagnose why I was feeling that way.
This was 2015, 2017, that period? Or even later a bit more?
Later, I was okay. I started working on myself. And then, yes. So I don't drink alcohol at all. It's been years and it's changed my life. And that's a completely different story. Maybe then I was numb. I was absolutely numb.
But how? From the applause of all those people.
Doesn't matter.
And the bookings. How did the negative voices manage to get away in? Because you were already built as a please don't stop.
It was just never enough. Like, it was just like, why haven't I done a bigger crowd, and why isn't this happening? I always focused on the what hasn't happened instead of what's happened. Like, never appreciated what I had done and what I had accomplished, because nothing was ever enough. It's like almost like a greed. And again, the environment I was surrounded by didn't really make me feel good about myself. And that, because of my anxiety and because of my self-confidence, that was the louder voice than the real voice.
You see, because we haven't seen each other in 10 years, I didn't know all that. So I'm going to ask her again.
Nobody knows.
Nobody
knows.
Because
they do now. But I'm very, because I've unshamed myself. I was so ashamed of how I felt and being like not almost weaker. I was just not the best version of myself, even though I was trying so hard to be, but I was not in an environment that would let me shine. So I'm not ashamed of it now. And I want people to know, if they're ever in that place, you can completely, I've not even like 180'd. There needs to be a new degree, like, of what I have done. I've completely, I'm spiraled, and I'm not going to stop. And, because the feeling of how this feels now, with a clearer mind and a really great network around me, the fact that I'm studying and I'm writing what I want to do, it's like, this is like, if there was a pill for this, I would take it, but I've done that without anything. Like, this is literally who I am. And that is hard work as well. Everything you have to work hard for if you want it to.
And that's why the 10 years big pause
I think so.
Yeah, in you creating and being on stages and gracing audiences.
That gives, I was always performing, but not to the degree that I was used to. I think that goes back to, when you said something about how you felt about what made you confident to write your music and things like that. I lost that for a good time. So if I was trying to write something, no, it's not good enough, because that person might say this about this.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
with this. It was tough. And I don't even think I don't want to be negative about anybody. That person was probably trying to just be helpful and make me feel, trying to help me. But it wasn't, because I was so broken and delicate. Like, anything anyone said.
And then when you paused, you went back to further reconnect with who Clarita is.
Yes.
You strengthen the roots of who you are.
Trying.
And you've taken your power, and that's where you were able to say, no, thank you, no, thank you. This is the boundary. And then you were able to create in this brand new space.
Yes.
So that's one of the ways in which we all can unmute ourselves.
100%.
Taking a big pause.
Yeah. Reflect.
And then 2024 comes.
Oof, what a year.
And you are saying, I'm feeling so sassy. Here's the album, a new key. Me, Clarita de Quiroz, the awesome diva, reinterpreting classical music. And I'm like, but Clarita, how did you do that? Why not? And on top of that, a master degree in law. You have to explain yourself.
I don't know how to.
10 years break, and then Lamborghini speed, creating an album, launching it, #1, and degree in law. You have to explain yourself. How?
I don't know. It's the true answer. I don't know. No, I do. So like I said, with the whole alcohol thing, I don't trying to tell anyone to stop drinking or do anything. Like, I'm just telling how it was for me personally in my journey. So when I stopped drinking, I got bored. I was bored. Bored. Like, I didn't know what to do. It was like I'd stretched my days out. And not only that, I was feeling good.
But what made you stop?
I got allergic. That's like...
God has a funny
something
way
happened.
To direct us on the right track.
I have to be honest. Like, I got allergic, and don't know if it was the coronavirus or the vaccine or something. I remember waking up one day having a coffee. The coffee tastes different. Trying something else. This chicken tasted different. But I just remember trying alcohol, and it tasted like, I don't know, it was nothing pleasant. It was like acetone. Like, the smell of acetone, it was like that. And it put me off. And then ended up, it was just, I cannot drink it. And then I had headaches when I was trying to drink again, just to see if I could, because I used to love a glass of champagne. One of my favorite things. And it was really, I loved it. It's just that it was the ritual more than the actual drink itself. So yeah, so that happened. And I got bored. And then I started cooking because I didn't know, I'm a working woman. I didn't know how to turn on an oven. I'd be like my sister, what does this button do? This was literally 3.5 years ago. Okay. Didn't know how to do anything.
You're the pianist, you're
didn't
the
know
diva,
what to do.
it's fine.
So I started learning all these recipes. So if I wanted to learn a recipe, I'd take maybe 15 and take what I think the science works and go for it. And I wouldn't even try and attempt it without having studied it, because I hate failure. As you all know, I don't like failure. And so then I got bored with that. It wasn't enough. And I was supposed to start law after my first degree. I was in the University of Glasgow, my first degree.
And why law?
Why law? Because all my family are lawyers. A lot of my family are lawyers, and I find it a fascinating subject. There was something happening in my life that made me want to do it as well, and so I assigned for it because I was thinking I need to do something, and it was always something I was going to do anyway. But then my music career took off, so I put a backseat for the law degree, and I went back to it. So I found a course, and it was overwhelming the first week. I was like, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? So, and then it got more enjoyable the more I started to understand the processes. But I will say I did an undergraduate in business with economics. And I would say what I did in 4 months for that degree is probably like 3 days of the law masters. I remember seeing my sister study for her law degree. And I'm like, why are you studying so hard? She's like, I have to. I was like, you're just overdoing it. But no, I understand it now. Anyone who is a lawyer or done a law degree or anything to do with the legal world I absolutely take my hat off to them.
Wait. I need to get into your mind and understand. Right brain, highly expressive and creative. Music, art, performing, law, left brain. So was it already developed because many discussions with the parents? How did you make space in your mind for both, is my question.
I don't, it was unconscious. I have no idea. I was always very academic. Like I was very good in studying. I was always very good at this. Maybe it was something I wanted to revisit. And because I wasn't doing music, I take a break. I thought I have to do something because that's just in my personality. I can't just sit and do absolutely nothing. And I was doing a lot of my business stuff as well because I've got that side of me as well. So the law thing was fascinating, and it stopped a few nightmares that I kept having. I had recurring nightmares. Fascinating. Stopped. I have an aura ring.
I noticed.
You noticed? My stress levels went down. My stress levels went down doing a law degree. There's definitely something. I was fixing something that I didn't understand. And I don't know if it was a part of my education that I didn't feel validated enough. Maybe I actually do know the answer to this, but I'm not going to get into that. And I had to do something about it. And and then there was a live active case that I was reading up on and doing administration for somebody. And I met this incredible lawyer. His name is Paul Menzia. He's incredible. And because I was studying law, the textbooks and everything like that. So you can always learn the theory. Theory is always something. But when you put it into practice, completely different. It depends on the person and how you use the law and how you treat your clients and your emotional intelligence as well as strategy.
Which yours is very high.
Really?
So you have now an ace under your sleeves.
Yeah,
because
maybe.
you're coming with a structure of the law that obviously you were pulled towards, and you're coming with the high empathy and super creative brain that was developed every day by playing piano and composing.
Yeah.
Are you gonna practice?
Maybe.
Maybe
Because
towards yes.
it's been 2 months since I finished and I really miss it. I was not expecting that. I was thinking I'm going to be counting the months. Come on, it's going to be finished. I miss it.
I am blown away because society is teaching us, has been giving us role models of you do one thing and you get better at it. And you're saying, I'm a musician and I'm a multi-passionate human, and now I'm pursuing law. Oh, but you can't do law because you've done piano. You can't give up on the piano and the singing to do law. What is this, Clarita? I'm like, who are you? Who are you? Are you living my life? No. Then sit down.
Thank you.
Sit down.
Thank you. Especially if someone, that's something I need to work on as well. If someone tells me I can't do something. Maybe there was some of that. I think my dad actually said, because my real name is Claire, actually.
Yes,
he calls me Claire. And I think Claire is the artist of A New Key, by the way, the child of me. Yes, Clarita's this diva and this persona that I created to survive.
Yes.
I'm exposed as myself and I'm very comfortable with it. Anyway, so my dad was like, I was like, Dad, I'm doing quite well in this law degree. And he was like, oh, are you now, really? And my dad's awesome. I love my dad. And he's my daddy. And I was like, I really was aiming to pass, but I'm going to try and aim for a distinction. He was like, I don't think you'll get it. And I was like,
thank you for the fuel. I just needed the fuel.
He was close, believe me. I was really struggling at the end because I got really busy with work and a couple of my modules were slightly compromised, let's say. But yeah, I got it. So
whoa. Whoa. Tell us everything that you can tell us in this short format of our podcast about A New Key.
Yes.
And where and how you had the courage to say, okay, Beethoven, Mozart, and all of you geniuses, give me your music so I can reinterpret it because I am Clarita de Quiroz.
Is that how you see me, Clarita de Quiroz?
No.
Do I do that?
No, you don't. No, that's my humble interpretation of being playful.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
But I think,
which by the way, I love. Since you released it 6th of December this year, I've been playing it every day. I love not because you're a friend and I'm in awe of you. I feel it feeds me.
Oh, this is all I want. Do you know what? If I hadn't gone #1, just having that response is more than enough.
I love Rise Again.
Rise Again. That's my favorite too.
Oh, you see, no wonder we are best friends.
Thing is, like, it's funny because there are like, I think there are 3 or 4 tracks. Like, that's terrible. I don't know, that I fully composed. It's not a rework of a already existing. And Rise Again, funnily enough, is a rework of myself. It was on that album that I wasn't happy about.
Really?
I can't listen to the original version. I reinvented.
Purposed it, remixed
and
it,
it's beautiful.
Recreating it.
So I would like to talk about like the ones that I fully composed myself. One is called, it's Rise Again. And I've given you a brief synopsis on that. And then there is End of a Long Game of Chess. This is it's something that I have been kind of playing with the chords for a long time. But then I managed to put it into a song. And again, that's mostly about my journey with my education and how it involves strategy and things like that. So that was interesting. Wounds and Wings is probably my second favorite. I wrote this one in 20 minutes, maybe even less. And the one that's in the album is the first and only take of this track. I played it in one go.
But from taking a decade of a break, taking 10 years of a big break for you to do whatever you had to do.
Yes.
Then one day, your inner voice, your inner genius said, let's go back, let's create. What was the inner dialogue that preceded you creating?
I don't even know what it was. I really can't. I can't pinpoint it. It was just, I think, honestly, to be really honest, I was listening to a few artists on Spotify and I was thinking, this is amazing. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it my way.
You've resonated.
Yes. And it's also being around the right people. Everyone's inspiring me, like to to excel. It could be my sister excelling in what they do. It can be, and I felt like I had done really well in music, but I haven't excelled. I haven't shown the true me. And I think this album has shown the true me.
And who is the true you? In words, not only in the incredible music that I've listened.
I am a really shy, introverted person that has got so much love and loyalty, and that goes to friends, family, music, anything I'm involved with. And I believe a lot of people actually don't know this side of me. The persona that I've had as Clarita, it's very, like you said earlier, bold, super confident, fire,
strong voice, incredible harmonies that you create, and the persona of the stage.
That is like almost not me in a way. I mean, now I'm more confident and happy with what I want to do, but I would be more on the boring side to most people because I don't go out. And if I do, it's just literally to the opera. That is literally my house of worship. And it is like my nightclub. It's the only place I'll get dressed up for and make time to go to. I love my own space. I love being with my cat. I love my own time. And I think that's a complete contrast to what I used to be like. I was so dependent on people. And I couldn't stand being alone. I love being by myself. I love my own space. I like being inside. I love going to work on myself because I think this is really who I am now. I would, in not so many words, Clarita de Quiroz now is Claire O'Neill. That's who she is now. God, who is my real name.
Redeemed her.
That is me. I've come back to where I should be. And I believe my family call me Clarita, like it's Mini Claire. And this is something that I never thought would happen because I never thought Claire would never be able to get on the stage. She's too shy. She's too not confident.
You had to build a shield and the persona.
Sasha Fierce, like Beyonce did.
To go out. And now you're saying, thank you, armor. I put you down.
Yes. Isn't that
Hi,
funny?
world. It's me, Claire.
Yeah, and I used to hate, such a strong word. I used to really dislike using my real name. I was almost ashamed of it. And I was like, don't call me Claire in public. Don't call me. I'm like, hell no.
If we want to extract a golden nugget about inviting people to help themselves to unmute certain parts of yourself, what would you say that this process that you've gone through, what other words would you use to describe the unmuting of yourself towards full-fledged, authentic, take it or leave it?
For me, it's so important to just, you don't take everybody's words as gospel. So if somebody says to you, you can't do this, you might be this, and you might be like, oh yeah. No, question everything first. Question if this is true. And it's so hard to trust yourself. But the more you trust yourself, the more you'll be able to develop yourself. And I can't say it enough. The people that really know you, keep them close. And the people that you're kind of friends with, or you maybe just partied with a few times and blah, 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 don't know the true you, don't really have best intentions. Maybe they do. Be wary, okay? And do things for you. Don't compare. And if you're really, really stuck and you're really struggling, I really advise people to really see therapy. It's a fantastic thing to do. Nothing to be ashamed of. If they're really struggling, find me on Instagram, talk to me.
On that note, we are friends till the end of time.
Of course.
We haven't spoken in 10 years, but I'm definitely going to hold on very tight to you. Back to voice, leadership, you leading your life to success, degrees in law, musician, awards, #1 album, traveling the world, independent, full of energy. I want you, as a musician who studied the piano since age 4, to help me tell my incredible clients and people who are watching this podcast and people who have been following my work and been my clients. When it comes to voice, let's go a little bit into the technicalities of voice from the perspective of a high-end master vocalist. If you are performing on stage to 20 colleagues or to 500 people, how do you manage the nervousness? How do you work the emotions? You breathe, you stand tall, you say a prayer. What is your ritual? What do you
Breathe.
do? Yeah.
Breath work with absolutely everything.
I told you. I'm saying I told you because, yeah, breath.
It's absolute breath work. It goes with anything. To fall asleep quickly, to calm your nervous system, you breathe, and then you have to think about what you're about to sing or what you're about to say more than what's out there. And also practice. Record yourself. So you're actually very familiar. The more you do something, the less you're going to be nervous, aren't you? So if you're if you've done this 20 times in your head or you've recorded it, you've got this. That takes the anxiety and the nervous side of it away. And breathe with everything.
How important is projection and clarity when you sing and when you speak from your perspective?
Oh, this is interesting because again, it depends on the song.
Yes.
Because sometimes you can't project as hard as you can. Like there'll be certain songs I cannot sing quietly because you have to use a different part of your voice. So if you go into like more opera kind of stuff, no way, I'd literally shatter the windows. It's so loud. But being clear and projecting in the way that you're supposed to is obviously going to preserve your voice. And technique is absolutely everything. I didn't have good technique until recently. And also your speaking voice. The way I speak now is, I don't know if you've watched more TV shows of me back then.
I noticed.
I speak differently.
I noticed.
Speak from more here. Because I was losing my voice as a presenter. Because the two things that will ruin your voice is like acidity here or screaming.
And coffee is not good for you.
It's not the best. But screaming, and this will destroy your voice. And I was losing my voice because to get that projection, I was screaming instead of not here. And this is something you need to learn to preserve your instrument. If you've got no instrument, it's very hard to take it back without operation.
And it's valid also for presenters. It's valid also for leaders, not only for people, not only for singers who are using their voice every day.
Of course, because I was losing my voice without singing. So I couldn't sing if I wasn't speaking properly. It's interesting you noticed that I changed it.
Of course.
Really?
I've also worked on my voice when I took singing classes because I wanted to master my instrument.
Yeah.
I'm as passionate as you about speaking and communication. And if I don't constantly upgrade myself, my instrument, my mind, my knowledge, I'm not really
for sure
capable or be able to be the best public speaking coach. What happens if you speak a lot or if you sing a lot? What is something that people can do after they gave keynotes, speeches? What is a practice that they can do to take care of their instrument?
Rest.
Rest.
Rest. I'm going to say again and again, no alcohol, no sudden change in temperature, no smoking. But rest would be a great one, and try not to speak too much because everything gets tired. If you run a marathon, you need a rest. It's an instrument. You need to protect it. So yes, just don't scream. That's really bad for you. And if you're going out to a really loud place, I will lose my voice because I'm trying to. You don't realize I'm trying to use the technique, but it doesn't matter because there's smoke, there's everything. Just look into the diet of your voice as well. It's very, very important.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah. Tell us anything that you can share as a well-established diva. What do you do with your stage presence that leaders, female, male, can use in order to have more executive presence and stage presence?
Yeah, see, this is actually something I struggled with. I was never confident on stage because I always hid behind my piano. But now It's yes. So now I can do it. I can do it. But this is, for me, it's hard because it's experience. It's just practice, and everyone's there for you. They're there for you. They're there to listen to you. You've got your audience. Now perform to them. What would you want to see when someone is speaking to you?
Yeah.
And engage. You need to engage. If they're just looking at someone just talking off of a piece of paper or just like, you need to show the passion, and you need to show you are there for them also. You are there speaking to them. You want to reach out to them. So reciprocation is good.
How do you advise someone who has to adapt their message and voice to different audiences to do that? Because you, having such a big genre of music and different audiences, you are able to naturally go in different places and have variety in the way you engage with the audience.
Mm-hmm.
But how can a CEO, a leader, an entrepreneur have that variety to not just be stuck into one mode, one way of speaking?
Well, for me personally, I don't change.
Okay.
I am just me
Okay.
in my product, and I'll slightly adapt to if the core of you is true.
Yeah.
People relate to that.
Right.
People love truth. They like something that's authentic and true. I will listen to somebody if I'm thinking, this person's speaking the truth. This person is resonating to me. And it doesn't matter what the subject is. If you've got that, people will relate to it. And obviously, tailor it to whatever you're doing. Know your audience. Know what you're talking about. And be prepared for absolutely anything that comes your way. Like any questions, be prepared. Knowledge is key. Knowledge is power.
Thank you. 2 more questions, and then I'm going to reveal that small surprise I have for you.
Okay.
What would you say that people don't know about me that only you know or you've experienced?
About you, my darling.
Yeah.
That you're one of the most empowering, beautiful souls in Dubai who works super hard and is unstoppable. You're one of not only the most popular models of the time when we were modeling, and that was a long time. Are you going to cry? Don't cry. I don't want to make you cry. And you were a force not to be reckoned with. And obviously you've got all these multi-talents, and you have a spiritual side of you. I don't know if your audiences know this, and a true kindness that is so unique, and it really is very hard to find these days. One of the beautiful inside and out. Darling.
Thank you for seeing me through your gorgeous, gorgeous eyes.
I see you for you. I'm not saying nice words. This is just what I think about you.
Thank you very much. I had to ask her that because I haven't seen her in 10 years, and we are so pumped. Thank you very, very, very much. The difficult question I have for you is, what truth are you still working on unmuting in your life? Because you've unmuted so much
I really
already.
have.
You have.
I'm thinking.
Take your time.
Well, I think we've covered it, but what I'm trying to really unmute right now is the true me. It's the real me. Because I wasn't sure if people would be as responsive to it as they were to Clarita versus Claire. I think I'm unmuting Claire. That's what I'd like to say. I'm unmuting her. I think she deserves the stage now.
Thank you. Whoa. I'm taking all that in, and I'm thinking of my own small self, and I'm like, I've been receptive and not really asked you many questions because I was sincerely living through your journey and being with you on the journey. As we haven't seen each other in such a long time, I've composed a poem. So here it goes.
Okay.
Oh, Clarita, what a joy to see. On UnMute, you are the perfect key. A trailblazer in all you pursue, with music, law, and dreams so true. A master-in-law, you've nailed it with flair. Brains and beauty beyond compare. You are a pianist, vocalist, a queen of rhythm, with percussion beats that spark true wisdom. An entrepreneur, bold and refined, disciplined yet free, with a radiant mind. Your album, a new key, a triumph in sound, where passion and talent endlessly abound. a global citizen, feminine and strong. You've walked the world and sang its song. From stage to studio, your magic is clear, a shining star we are thrilled to have here. So here is to you, dear friend, so true. On UnMute, the mic's for you. Your art and heart inspire us all. Clarita, you are unstoppable. You answered the call.
Oh my gosh.
And I put the word unstoppable before you telling the word unstoppable this morning. Speaking of...
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. Thank you. I'm so humbled. Like, my face really hurts from this podcast. I've been smiling so much.
Thank you for your raw self. Thank you for the work that you've done. Thank you for being a role model in this world for singers, female, and people who aspire to lead their life. Thank you for unmuting yourself. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for this podcast. And I truly, sincerely hope that if you've listened till the end, you will allow a bit apart from Clarita's journey to give you the strength to unmute wherever you need to unmute yourself in your life so you can live authentically and free and be radiant and fiery and unstoppable. Like you. Is there anything else you want people to know or do as we are wrapping up?
Be free, be happy, live your life. Honestly, you get one chance, make the most of it. Don't live it in silence and always reach out. People are there for you, no matter what.
I love you.
I love you too.